Even as Social Security Administration workers are understaffed and overworked, the House GOP wants to cut the budget by $500 million.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
And jumping right into last week in Southern labor, here's what workers in the U.S. South and the American colonies were up to from June 21st to the 28th. In new union campaigns, more workers were covered by new decertification campaigns than new organizing this week. Not a good sign. 2 units covering 117 workers are now in decertification campaigns, and 4 units covering 109 workers are in new union campaigns. 1 raid began among security guards, and 1 election petition was filed and withdrawn in the same week. The employer filed a petition to hold a union election after a majority of the 8 workers at H&M in Lakeland, Florida, demonstrated support for unionization with the United Food and Commercial Workers, UFCW Local 1625. 50 workers at Henderson Community Co-op and Deli in Hendersonville, North Carolina, filed a petition to hold a union election with UFCW Local 1996. The security officers of RTP are attempting to raid a unit of 46 security guards at Paragon Systems in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, currently represented by the Security Police and Fire Professionals of America, SPFPA. 3 workers at Heritage Care Center of Berkeley in St. Louis, Missouri, filed a petition to hold a union election with SEIU Healthcare, Missouri, Kansas, but withdrew the petition in the same week. Workers likely pushed by their employer filed a petition to decertify the Amalgamated Transit Union, ATU, as the union representing 52 workers at First Student, a school bus company in Dalton, Georgia. The employer filed a petition to hold a union election after a majority of the 33 workers at Sixt Rent-A-Car in Miami, Florida, demonstrated support for unionization with the Teamsters Local 769. Workers likely pushed by their employer filed a petition to decertify the Teamsters Local 745 as the union representing 65 workers at FCC Environmental Services in Dallas, Texas, and 18 workers at Point Broadband Fiber Holding in Bristol, Virginia, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, Local 934. In campaign updates, Ohio charter schools are using an Orlando-based union-busting law firm to fight union campaigns among their teachers. Ahead of union elections at several Compass Coffee locations in Washington, D.C., management has packed the units with 124 new employees, including CEOs of other area restaurants and a lobbyist for Uber. Additionally, a fake account claiming to be the union has made inflammatory pro-Palestine statements using Hamas paraglider imagery. In election results, 585 workers in 11 bargaining units voted in favor of unionization, and 22 workers in 2 units voted against. 14 workers at Starbucks in Newberry, South Carolina voted 10-1 in favor of unionization with Starbucks Workers United, as did 12 workers at Starbucks in Hurst, Texas. Their vote was 11-1. 46 workers at Innovative Solutions in Aiken, South Carolina voted 24-11 in favor of unionization with the Teamsters Local 509. And 18 workers at Rural Metro Corporation of Tennessee in Chattanooga, Tennessee, voted 14-0 in favor of unionization with the International Association of Firefighters. 4 workers at Glades Electric Cooperative in Moorhaven, Florida, voted unanimously in favor of unionization with the IBEW Local 1933. 10 workers at Wells Fargo in Spring Hill, Florida, voted 9-1 in favor of unionization with Wells Fargo Workers United, CWA, as did 5 Wells Fargo workers at a location in Fort Myers, Florida. 21 workers at Darling Ingredients in Bastrop, Texas, voted 8-11 against unionization with the Teamsters Local 657. 13 workers at Democracy North Carolina in Morrisville, North Carolina, voted 10-0 in favor of unionization with the Communication Workers of America, CWA. And 1 worker at Keolis in Dania Beach, Florida, did not vote in their election to see if their department would be added to an existing Teamsters Local 769 represented unit, so that department was not added. 127 workers at Mikey Co. in Boynton Beach, Florida, voted 45-29 in favor of unionization with the International Alliance of Theatrical and Stage Employees, IATSE. 41 workers at the Luther F. Carson Four Rivers Center in Paducah, Kentucky voted 34-4 in favor of unionization with IATSE Local 421, and 295 workers at Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana voted 146-29 in favor of unionization with Unite Here.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
In strikes and bargaining updates, workers at a Wendy's in Durham, North Carolina, organized with the Union of Southern Service Workers, held a rally protesting management's discrimination against one of their trans co-workers. USSW members in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia held other rallies around their heat demands, AC, and consistent water breaks. The International Union of Painters and Allied Trades workers went on strike against SSW Advanced Technologies in Vincennes, Indiana. They are taking their strike nationwide, including traveling to SSW in Tennessee to inform workers of their right to unionize. Workers at Central Florida Jobs with Justice ratified their first union contract with CWA Local 3108. The contract includes a 6% raise, a 401k, more expansive leave policies, and more. The SPLC union is coming out with more evidence that the recent layoffs were retaliatory, with private messages from the CEO disparaging the workers. The U.S. House is proposing a meager 2% raise for federal civilian workers, but a 20% raise for the lowest level of service members in the military. The American Postal Workers Union began negotiations for a new contract with the Postal Service, and community members in Mason, Tennessee demonstrated against Ford's Blue Oval facility's lack of commitment to the community and their refusal to bargain over a community benefits agreement. CWA Southeast began bargaining on a new contract with AT&T and DirecTV last week. And in political and legislative updates, the activist Supreme Court overturned the Chevron doctrine, which means that now federal judges, some of whom have the distinguished primary qualification of having been big Trump donors, will be the ones making decisions on technical details for administrative agencies. The AFL-CIO condemned the decision, calling it a brazen power grab. Another activist judge blocked the Department of Labor's new overtime rule from going into effect for workers in Texas, denying thousands of Texans a well-deserved pay increase. Even as Social Security Administration workers are understaffed and overworked, the House GOP wants to cut the budget by $500 million. Jessica LaPointe, president of the American Federation of Government Employees, AFGE Council 220, told the government executive that cuts on the order of those proposed in the House bill would be a death blow to a workforce that is still struggling under crushing workloads. Sherrod Brown led other Senate Democrats in a letter to the Biden administration urging them that they stop the purchase of U.S. steel by Nippon. As a reminder, there are multiple U.S. steel facilities still in Birmingham, Alabama. After years of fighting in the courts, the black mayor of New Bern, Alabama is finally able to serve his town after a white minority coup after his initial win. Shout out to Lee Hedgepeth for bringing the story to light initially. The city of Charlotte, North Carolina, approved over $500 million in stadium improvements for the Panthers owner, and Middle Tennessee DSA is raising $10,000 to abolish $1 million in medical debt for Tennessee residents. Texas Teamsters are opposing efforts to allow driverless taxis operated by crews to be allowed on the road in Dallas, and the Oklahoma Supreme Court blocked an attempt to start a publicly funded religious charter school. The Oklahoma Federation of Teachers applauded the decision. A Florida judge ruled that Florida educators can challenge SB 266 in court. The law bans independent arbitration of personnel decisions. And wrapping up with internal union affairs, UAW Region 8 held a week-long summer school for active members last week, teaching subjects such as UAW 101, collective bargaining, grievance writing, the CAP, retirees, young workers, and financial officer training. If you had anything that we missed, you can let us know at tvlr.fm/contact, and we'll include it in next week's update.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.